Hare Krishna. Welcome to our online Bhagavad Gita reading retreat lab. So today we will read from verse number 12 to verse number 18 of our chapter number 10, which is the opulence of the absolute. So before we start, we'll be having a glimpse of this section. So in the verse number 12 to verse number 18, what happens that after hearing the essential four verses, in the last session we have studied Chatusloki Gita, so basically the verse number 8 to 11. So after hearing those four verses of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna became completely free of all doubts and he accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then what happens? Arjuna expresses his eagerness to hear Krishna's glories. So Lord, so he asks, please explain your glories. I want to hear more and more. So for that reason, so Krishna in the next verses, he is explaining. So in the last section, we'll be seeing, which will be next session, like verse number 19 to 42, Lord Krishna describes all of his opulences, or we call it vibhutis. Okay. So now let's get started with the verse number 12. We will go back to our Vedabas. So as usual, we will not be going through the sloka and what word meaning. Rather, directly we will go through translation and purport. So in this verse, we are having the verse number 12 and 13 together. So now we will go to the translation. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Purport. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the Mayavadi philosopher. For here, it is clear that the Supreme Person is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential four verses of Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declares, you are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And previously, Krishna stated that he is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on him. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they're absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by his grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunctions. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering him by calling him the supreme personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these two verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand him, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunctions. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on him. The Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord, in whom everything is resting, can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of him. The constant thinking of Krishna is Smaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure, and one who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected from sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as a supreme pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. This is also confirmed by great personalities of whom Narada is the chief. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is a supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth, and death. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas and histories, in all Vedic literature, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in the fourth chapter, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin, he has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself to the grace of Krishna. If you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these two verses. This is called Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literature, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. So we will move to now go to the next verse, verse number 14, chapter 10. Translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Purport. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So, what to speak of the so called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita, as described in the fourth chapter. The Parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna re-established that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the Parampara system. When the Parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance of by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So with this, we will move to the next verse, that is chapter number 10, verse number 15. Translation. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Persons of demonic or atheistic mentality cannot know Krishna. Mental speculation that leads one away from the Supreme Lord is a serious sin, and one who doesn't know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the statement of Krishna. And since it is the science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. So, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattam jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmiti bhagavana iti sapyate. The supreme truth is realized in three aspects: as impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last, the supreme personality of Godhead. So, at the last stage understanding the absolute truth, one becomes the supreme personality of Godhead. A common man or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma may not understand God's person. personality. Such men, therefore, may endeavor to understand Supreme Person from the verses of Bhagavad Gita which are being spoken by this person. Krishna, sometimes the impersonalists accept Krishna as a Bhagavan or they accept his authority. Yet many liberated persons cannot understand Krishna as Purushottam, the Supreme Person. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as a Purushottam. Yet one still may not understand that Krishna is the father of all living entities. Therefore, Arjuna addresses him as a Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the father of all living entities, therefore Arjuna addresses as Bhuta Bhavana. And if one comes to know him as the father of all the living entities, still one may not know him as the supreme controller. Therefore, he is addressed here as Bhutesa, the supreme controller of everyone. And even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Therefore, he is addressed herein as Deva Deva, the worshipable god of all demigods. And even if one knows him as the worshipable god of worshipful god of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. Therefore, he is addressed as Jagatpati. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna. And we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So in this, just to summarize before you go for the next verse. So the verse number 12 and 13, we have seen Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the purest, unborn, and the greatest. His supremacy is confirmed by great authorities like Narada, Vyasa, and so on. In verse number 14 and 15, we have seen no one knows Krishna except himself. So in the next verse 16 and 17, now we will move on. The verse number, chapter number 10, verse number 16. Translation. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Purport. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general and the impersonalists in particular concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading nature, how in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. So one should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. So now we will move to the next verse, that is your chapter number 10, verse number 17. Translation. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport. As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yogamaya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now, Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he wants to know the general process by which all pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna very well. Because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all perverseness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as yogi because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yogamaya energy and by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The word kesu kesu cha vavesu refer to the material nature, and the word vava means physical things. So the word bhava means physical things. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. Now we will move to the next verse. This is chapter number 10, verse number 18. Translation. O Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satisfied in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to test the nectar of your words. Purport. A similar statement was made to Sutta Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Saunaka. That statement is Vayam Tuna Mitrapyama Uttama Sloka Vikrame Yat Shvatam Rasajnanam Swadu Sadhu Pade Pade. One can never be satisfied even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna at every step, the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam reference 1.1.19. Lord. Thus, Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna and specifically how he remains as the all-forwarding Supreme Lord. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like a nectar, and this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fictions, and his stories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. In that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh despite repeated readings. Just to summarize these verses 16 to 18, Arjuna requests basically the Krishna to tell more about his divine opulences, as there is no satiation in hearing about Krishna. So with this, now we will move to our mind map. So just to summarize in this section, we covered the verse number 12 to 18. So basically, Arjuna became completely free of all of his doubts after understanding and hearing those Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita in what we covered in the last session. So here he is accepting Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and he then expressed his eagerness, okay, to hear Krishna's glories, so that he could always think of it. Okay. So now with this, we will stop here, and in the next session we will start with the verse number 19 to 42. Okay, so Hare Krishna.